Today I would like to share with you a few things that I do to clear my mind. They basically serve like declutter activities to reset the processor and everything that's going on in there. I came up with the idea for this video because this week it's just been so much going on. Mostly because I've been super creative. I've been coming up with so many ideas and things I want to do, but then there's all the other things that I have to do, and I've got all these to-do lists. Then I've got my email inbox and all these other channels where people are writing to me wanting stuff from me. I need to take care of a lot of stuff. There's also bureaucracy that I need to take care of, and then I have my personal life where there's stuff going on. Man, it's just a lot sometimes. And so what happens is there's just so much clutter in here, and I start overanalyzing and I start being overwhelmed, and there is a fine line between just like your brain doing its thing and then it turning into a chatterbox and just it won't shut up. And then you overanalyze, you overthink, it becomes a bit excessive, maybe even obsessive in my case, definitely. And so eventually brain is full, the disk is full to its capacity, there is just no more space to be creative or productive. A lot of times I also feel really scattered and really all over the place. I can't focus properly, and also I get stuck on problems and just like the same cycle and the same thoughts over and over again. It's just not the state that I want to be in. And as much as our brains are awesome and they can be super useful and amazing, they can also be a little bit annoying because they kind of have sometimes do a thing of their own, and it feels like they're running the show and control what's going on. And that's not something I want to allow. So a healthy mind is really there to support us, for us to be creative, to reach our goals, to be effective. But an unhealthy mind can sabotage us into imagining things are not actually real. It gets us stuck into the past or in the future. It can just like, woof. I always like to use the quote, "Where focus goes, energy flows." And that's really what happens. So I like to keep my focus on things that make me feel good and get away from things that make me feel overwhelmed. So I'm a huge fan of clearing my mind and really declutter what's going on up here, also because I'm a minimalist and I believe less is more, not just on the outside, but definitely also on the inside. So the first thing that actually needs to happen in the process of clearing your mind is to actually become aware of it. And a lot of times that doesn't happen straight away. A lot of times we need to become really stressed out or just super overwhelmed until we realize, oh man, I think this one is in charge again and I need to bring it down, ground myself, and do a few things to get out of here. So it's really about checking in with yourself a lot, especially when you're having a bit of stressful times where it's just a lot of stuff going on. It's just like, okay, how am I feeling? What's going on? What are the thoughts up here? And just kind of record, kind of take inventory of your state. And the next step is then to choose 1 or 2 or 3 things that you can do to actually clear what's going on up here and kind of reset your system. And here are a few things, a few declutter activities, a few ways of how I like to do it. I actually have a list, so especially when I'm in overwhelm mode, I just take out that list. I don't need to think anymore. I just look at the list and I choose something and then I go out and I do it. The number one thing that I like to do to clear my mind is to get out of here and get into my body. And I do that by running, by surfing, by doing yoga, maybe just going for a walk aimlessly, just anything where you're not in here. Number 2, especially when there's a lot of complex stuff going on or things that I can't make sense of, is to sit down and write it out. Just get it out of here. And a lot of times that in itself just really takes care of the clutter in here. It's almost like I take the clutter in here and just put it on a piece of paper and put that away, and that's it. I can really recommend writing morning pages, especially in times when there is a lot going on for me in my life and whatnot. I sit down in the morning and I literally just vomit everything out that's on my hard disk and put it on paper, and then I can move on with my day when everything is set to 0. Also, something that I didn't used to do, but now I do more so, is actually talk to someone. It's almost like writing it out, but you actually get a little bit of feedback and maybe you find some clarity. It's also one reason why I have a life coach that I talk to on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. I find so much clarity through these sessions, and obviously I have a lot of friends that I can call up or write to and just be like, hey, I just need to bounce back a few things that don't make sense in my head, or just unload the craziness that's going on in here. A lot of times these conversations with my friends then turn into awesome chats about all sorts of things, and then they kind of take you away from the stuff that you were focusing on so much, and just, you know, you end up talking about completely different things, and that's pretty awesome too. Something that I do every day in the mornings to take charge of what's going on in here, but also definitely works during the day or in the evenings when, yeah, you just kind of really need a reset, is to just meditate, guys. I know I keep saying this, but it's such an important, amazing, useful tool. And so, especially when you're really overwhelmed, a guided meditation for a body scan, or like a heart-centering meditation with like 30 minutes or 60 minutes, just go on YouTube or even on Spotify. There's so many amazing guided meditations, and they will just ground you down and just get you out of here. And awesome. I mean, meditation just seriously rocks my world. Another thing that really works so well for me, and that I actually discovered in Bali because I had my own pool, and every time when I felt stressed out or overwhelmed or whatever was happening, it was just get too much, I would jump in the pool and just kind of swim around. And for some reason or another, just being immersed in water really helped to clear my mind. So either jumping in a pool or in the ocean, or seriously even just taking a shower, it works for me like a reset, and maybe it does for you too. What I've discovered recently, what also works so well, is to just get creative and immerse yourself in an activity where you kind of put yourself into a flow state. For me right now, that's making videos, it's going out and taking photos, it's any sort of thing where I get my creative juices flowing, and it's afterwards I feel like, wow, I've created something, I've done something, so it makes me feel kind of accomplished. And also, as I am in the flow, it puts me into a moment and definitely gets me out of here. So yeah, go and get creative, find something where you can just kind of use your creative potential, and I swear to God, it will help you to declutter all of that. And then of course there's other things that you can do, like maybe you're fully into gardening, or I just rediscovered skateboarding, or I go out and just sit down and read a book, maybe at best fiction. That's really good to turn that one off. Or I listen to a podcast or an audio book, just something where I feel like I'm diving into another world, into another sort of wavelength, and that a lot of times really helps as well. So these are the declutter activities that I do to get out of here and just clear my head and reset my mind. And I'd love it if you shared in the comments maybe other things that you do that help you. And other than that, always give me a thumb up if you like my video, subscribe to my channel to follow along, and share with your friends if you think they might like my videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.